Today on Family Tech Update, what is IGTV? Facebook wants to teach your kids kindness. What was up with that rocket launch in Fortnite? And will there possibly be eSports at the Olympics? Instagram has joined the long-form video club with IGTV. What IGTV is, it's a way to post and view longer videos on Instagram. Normally, Instagram videos have been kept to about a minute long maximum, even shorter if it's in Instagram stories. Well, this is a stories style vertical video channel basically that you can create, and you can post videos up to 10 minutes for most people and up to an hour if you're verified. And so Because Family started using it, if you go to Because Family, you'll see a couple of our podcasts have been put in there as IGTV videos. We've also used IGTV for some other shorter little clips and that sort of thing. But it's a big deal. It's something that Instagram is trying to become one of the places that people go to watch longer videos, like YouTube or Facebook is becoming, and Vimeo, things like that. And so Instagram's where everybody's hanging out, so do not be surprised. In fact, you've already, I'm sure, started seeing more and more of the people and companies that you follow posting things on IGTV. That's going to continue, and it's a big deal. Facebook Messenger Kids is something we've written about extensively, and they've recently just updated the app to include some digital citizenship features to help teach kids how to be kind online. They're also adding things like stickers and face filters and emojis to encourage them to reach out with compliments and kindness to people in the Messenger app. They also added the ability for more than one parent to manage their kids' connections on the app. So mom and dad can both get notifications when somebody requests to be their friend or they request to be somebody else's friend. That's something that a lot of parents have been asking for and wanting to see. And so it's really a relief to see that happening. Finally, Facebook Messenger Kids is going to be releasing something called appreciation missions, in which they will be getting rewarded for reaching out and showing appreciation to people through the Messenger app. So if they send a message to one of their friends and say, "You're super cool, I really like you," that sort of thing, or they follow distinctive guidelines or requests from the app to reach out with appreciation, they'll get bonuses or rewards in the app for doing that. It's again one of Facebook's attempt to help educate kids with digital citizenship. So far, in my opinion, Facebook Messenger Kids is one of the best options for keeping your kids safe with a messenger. The fact that you can only connect to them through asking their parents is very helpful. It helps with peace of mind a lot. So I recommend it because of that. It's something that they don't allow. They don't do tracking. They don't track data. They don't have advertising in there. They don't allow certain types of GIFs and things like that. In fact, you can't send a GIF from your Facebook Messenger to theirs because there's some inappropriate ones that they don't allow in the kids app. So they've got their own filters, their own everything based on what is best for kids. And now they're even adding the digital citizenship and things like that. I will say digital citizenship and citizenship as a whole is up to the parents to teach. It's up to you, mom and dad. So use Facebook Messenger to help, but you also have to model it for them, and you have to talk to them about what you think it means to be a good digital citizen, to be kind online and that sort of thing. Finally, the blast off, pun intended, majorly popular game Fortnite celebrated a rocket launch last week. And this is something that was a big deal for not only the developers of the game and the server hosts and that sort of thing, because they launched the same rocket at the same time across all their servers all over the world as a major event for players of the game to come check out. And so that was a big deal. It was quite the feat for them to do, so to speak. And so that's pretty cool. But it's also something parents have to think about, because this is going to cause, or did cause, a lot of kids to say, I have to be at home online watching this rocket launch at this certain time playing this game. And we already have a little bit of a struggle convincing our kids what the priorities should be. So we say, hey, buddy, you don't need it's not that important that you show up and you play your game today. You don't have to play tonight. And they say, oh, but I've got friends who are meeting me to play. I have to be there. I have to play. They're expecting me to be on the squad so we can battle together. And so that's the kind of thing that's going on. Well, this is another reason for kids to go, Mom, Dad, I have to be a part of this. I have to show up. I have to play the game. Because there's this rocket launch. It's only going to happen now, and I don't want to have to watch YouTube videos later to see it. So, I want to give you this advice, parent. First of all, it is a priority to them. It's important. Imagine, I know a lot of dads who cannot handle missing their team's event. You can't miss your team's game. It's like if you don't watch it, they're going to lose, which isn't true. Secrets, it's not true. But you have to you have to be there. You have to watch it. We all have things like that. The golf tournament you want to watch or the sporting event or the live musical or whatever it might be that you have to see when it airs. It used to be your favorite TV show before there was, DVR and streaming television. But sports is still the main thing that does that. It's a playoff game. I have to be there. It's a Super Bowl, whatever. Well, this is the kind of stuff that is important to your kids, just like that's important to you. So if there's a way for you to help them keep a priority, then help them keep a priority. Now, if there's something going on in your family, if there's a funeral, if there's a wedding, if there's some type of major family reunion or some type of event that they need to learn takes precedent no matter what, the kind of thing you would miss the ball game to go do or see or be a part of, then yeah, they need to know, hey, sometimes these things with family or these things with friends or whatever is more important than watching whatever it is you want to watch or playing whatever it is you want to play. So they need to know that. So yeah, use that opportunity to teach them, but also show some understanding. Hey, they think it's cool. They think it's important to be a part of. So you want to help them do that in a healthy way and model it for them, like I always say, but also just help them be a little healthy with how they prioritize their entertainment. So that's it for the news. Now I'm going to chat with my buddy John Wilkerson about eSports coming to the Olympics. What? I am here with John Wilkerson. John, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. We have a couple things I want to talk about. First off, we're going to talk about Olympic eSports because it could end up being a thing. We don't know for sure, but it's possible. And I don't know how anyone feels about that out there, how you feel about that, but we're going to find out. And then I just want to briefly say happy Cell Phone Courtesy Month. Did you know that July is Cell Phone Courtesy Month?
I did after I watched that very brief interview that you had on a local television station.
She interviewed me for 15 minutes. And that's what we got.
Every time, 3 seconds.
Yeah, every time we do that, she gets all her information. Like the whole story was stuff I said. But I'm on the screen for 3 seconds or something.
Yeah.
So, but I've done several things with her, and that's how they do it. And that's fine, whatever. But yeah, so there's an article at safe.becausefamily.org about Cell Phone Awareness Month. And so if you are interested in that, you could check it out. And but yeah, are you courteous with your cell phone?
I think most of the time I am, and it probably depends on who you ask. My wife might say sometimes no. I am not courteous with my phone.
Yeah, my kids would say not so courteous. Probably true. But yeah, so there's just 5 things that I talk about on the blog post about teaching your kids to be courteous and be thoughtful in their smartphone use. Intentional, that's kind of the goal for me is being thoughtful and intentional. So, but yeah, let's get on to eSports. Speaking of thoughtful, what do you think? Let me ask you this first, John. Do you participate in viewing any eSports at all?
I one time watched a Hearthstone tournament.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't really watch a lot of esports.
Did you enjoy the Hearthstone tournament?
I did. What I enjoyed the most about it was the personality of the people playing.
Right.
Their personalities really came through. The commentators were kind of dorks, but other than that, and it's not because they played Hearthstone or were commentating on Hearthstone. I think they're probably just dorks in general.
Sure.
which
Yeah, yeah.
which I'm one too. So
Yeah, it's who they are, and it's okay.
right.
Gotcha.
But I did like it. I enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people watch esports of games that they don't play, and I'm not really interested in that.
Yeah.
And since I don't play a lot of games myself, then really the only thing that I would watch would be something that I played, which there's two games I play, Pokemon Go and Hearthstone. So
Sure. Yeah, I've dabbled in Hearthstone, but not a ton. But yeah, I enjoy watching esports some. I don't watch a lot of competitive gaming videos. I am a big fan of Let's Plays, though.
mhm.
So I watch a lot of people play video games on YouTube, but I usually watch games that are story heavy, and it's like a movie. It's like a 15, 20-hour movie, And so I watch them in chunks. Like, I don't have a
Sure.
PlayStation or a Xbox and I have a MacBook that doesn't like gaming. I can play a few things on there. But so I watch people play games I can't play. But I used to do that as a kid. I used to sit and watch my cousin play, Knights of the Old Republic and play, shoot, Mario back in the day. He'd play all kinds of good games, Zelda, because
Yeah.
he was better at it, and he would get through the story where I would struggle and struggle and then give up. And so I got to watch the whole story. So that's kind of the same thing for me. I watch people now on YouTube do that, and some of them I'm a part of a community. I'll watch them live on Twitch. I'll jump into the comments, and I get a free subscription because Amazon Prime is a part of Twitch now too. And so I
Right.
subscribe to them every now and then, and they get $5 a month from Amazon because I subscribe for free. So, support them a little. But it's a big deal. People
It is a
watching
big
people play
deal.
games. Yeah.
It is a big deal, and again, our generation gap comes out here a little bit because I used to watch people in the arcades
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
games that I was better at, and some of those had storylines, so they weren't as in depth as some of the games here that we have now. And when I would sit around and watch, someone play through all of Mortal Kombat on
Yeah.
one quarter, or
Yeah.
or watch someone play pinball for just an hour off of a quarter and just be amazed by what they did.
Sure.
So I think that whole spectator thing, when it comes to people playing games, there's just something in us. It's why we watch sports.
Yeah,
We want to be
all
entertained,
sports.
and we want to watch people do things that we can't do. And I think esports is certainly tapping into a group of people who aren't into, you call them ball sports, right? They're not into
Yeah.
ball sports, but they are into video games.
Right. And I think, and I say this in the blog post, anytime we've created a way to compete against each other, we're going to find people who enjoy watching the best at it compete on a public stage of some kind.
For sure.
So that's what this is. I mean, there's a way to compete. Multiplayer games are a massive industry. It's a big deal now. And so because of that, we have more and more people, my generation and younger, who, and some older even, who enjoy watching the best of the best. Some of them are the best of the best. They enjoy watching them play games. I actually have a former student from one of our youth group we were youth pastor of, who she's a manager of a team that plays a game called H1Z1. It's one of the many battle royale games. She's a manager of the team, and they do, they win tournaments, and she moved to Vegas because that's one of the new latest top of the line arenas for esports. They just opened in Vegas and
Wow.
in Las Vegas, and it'll seat like 10,000 people or something. I think that's too many. That's one of the events they had at another place that seated 10,000. But it does seat thousands of people, and it'll have 24 gamers on the stage at the same time with giant screens where the player or the viewers can watch, and then they have it all set up to live stream,
Wow.
to the world. And so they actually had one of their first ever events there in, I believe it was March or in April, and the Fortnite player named Ninja played and he basically had where anybody could show up, pay $75, and play against him, and they could play it in the crowd. Like there was gaming systems all through the crowd. So they came, all these people are playing, and if you beat them, you won like $2,500. If you won the whole round, you won another $2,500. And so, but they had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of viewers live watching these people compete against the most popular Fortnite player, and they did it at the eSports arena in Las Vegas.
Wow.
And when I was at CES in Las Vegas, they had a makeshift arena set up, and they were doing Street Fighter tournaments, Street Fighter 5 tournaments, and they had actual athletes, like sport athletes, playing against eSports athletes, they call them, and we could debate on whether you should call them an athlete or not. But I don't necessarily have an opinion on what you call them. They can do things I can't do, whether it's physical or not. That's up to you. You can exercise your thumbs, I guess. But anyway, it was cool. I got to watch a couple rounds of them playing Street Fighter and live in an audience, and they make it a big deal. It's a big show, and it's a lot of fun, and people make real money doing it. And so the idea of it going away and being a fad is just no longer in the conversation. And so that leads us to now. Today, actually, July 12th, I believe, was the day. No, it's July 21st. I got the number switched. So in several days here, July 21st, they're going to be meeting the International Olympic Committee and the Global Association of International Sports Federations. They're meeting to hear from esports experts, sponsors, and athletes to discuss the possibility of having esports as an Olympic event. And so just right off to that, knee-jerk, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think it'll happen. I think that there will be a lot of pushback from traditional athletes on this. And but here's what I do think will happen is I think that a lot like we have, the Winter Games as opposed to the Summer Games.
Yeah.
I think the Olympic Committee will actually set up a separate competition for esports.
Yeah, sponsored
by,
Sure.
Mountain Dew or whatever.
Yeah. Red Bull.
Mountain Dew and Funyuns.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really fit in with the whole deal with Olympics. The things that the athletes in the Olympics are doing are physical, and the things that the esports participants are doing are not physical in the sense of they don't really require athletic ability in its strictest definition.
Sure.
It requires reaction time, absolutely. It requires it requires strategy and things like that. But as far as being a sport in the sense of what most people think about, I don't think we're going to see it. I think the closest we'll get is maybe something during an opening ceremony.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree. I think that every esport tournament right now, it's esport contenders competing from all over the world.
Right.
And much like, soccer or football is, the best players from the world play in, I guess, the Premier League. And so like that's how that is. But then whenever the Olympics come, they represent their country. And I think that's what they're looking at, this is something becoming. And I think it would be interesting to see that, but I don't think it belongs on the Olympic stage, personally. And I agree with you that I don't think it will make it to the Olympic stage. I hadn't really thought about a Olympic Committee or Global Association of International Sports Federations sponsored, esports Olympics per se.
Right.
But hey, why not? Like maybe they cash in on that, put down that phenomenon, right? And let's make some money by selling the rights to that, and selling the advertising for that, so that we have, man, we have all these kids watching something with the Olympic, rings on it, even if it's not affiliated with all the other sporting events.
Right. And I think one of the toughest things about it is going to be the fact that they probably want to avoid violent games,
They did say that already. Yeah,
which are some of the most popular right now.
true.
So going around shooting people, getting points for a double tap or a headshot or
Yeah,
whatever the case may
yeah.
be, they're not going to want that in the Olympics, which leaves out a lot of games that are popular
Games and
and
gamers, absolutely.
draw right and gamers.
Hmm.
So they would need to separate that, I
Yeah,
think, from the standard Olympics. I mean, people already complain about some of the shooting sports that are in the Olympics.
right.
Why are they doing stuff with guns?
Yeah, yeah. And
So,
there are games. There are tournaments for FIFA. So they
right,
play soccer, but the video game. There are tournaments for, like you said, Hearthstone. Games like that. That it's a battle, but it's a card game battle. It's not the same as running around pointing a gun at people in the game. But so they've already said anything that features explosions, killing, and violence, they are not interested in that. That's already off the table. So fantasy games could be a possibility. I don't know if they consider the sword fighting and all that stuff violent enough, or
right.
it would depend. Like, what are they? Something like Dota or games like that. But yeah, so we don't know. The conversation is the 2024 Olympics, if anything. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a if nothing else, it is a testament to the fact that the esports industry is making waves, and is an obvious cash cow opportunity
Oh, sure.
for for marketers, for any organization that deals in things of a competitive nature. Um, and it's not going away. I've been saying lately, for a little while now, I wouldn't be surprised if more in several years here, more people watch some game tournament, championship than the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's interesting because I actually read an article this morning from Fast Company about preparing college students and high school students for jobs of the future, which don't even exist yet.
Right.
And this certainly falls into that category. We're raising kids right now, and what are we doing as parents to prepare them for, some people say as much as 60% of the jobs in the next 20 years don't even exist right now.
Right.
It's probably a little more conservative than that, like around 20 or 30%. But there are a number of jobs right now that don't exist, that will well, there are a number of jobs right now that will go away,
Yeah.
and in the future, we don't know what lies ahead. Being Nobody expected 10 years ago that you could be a commentator for video games.
Right.
or that you could even play video games professionally.
Yeah.
Not even 10 years ago. So what's going to come out of this industry that we don't even know about yet?
Exactly. Right. Yeah. I have family who teach voice acting, and they teach like audiobook performance and stuff. And he has a student who books gigs and stuff doing voice acting, but one of his main jobs is he is a Dota 2 commentator, and he sits in his living room and commentates live as he watches the live stream, and he gets paid to do that 4 hours every Friday night or whatever for 4 hours, and he gets paid pretty good to do that. And he doesn't even leave home. He's not, his face isn't even on the screen. It's just his voice, and he's calling the
Wow.
play-by-play on this game. And you're right. There are jobs that exist today because of gaming and because of competitive gaming, like the young lady I know who's the manager of an H1Z1 team. Like, when that was never a thing. Battle Royale, that's a new thing over the last several years here, that
Mm-hmm.
all the games that have been popular are getting popular again by adding this Battle Royale factor to their game, where everybody parachutes onto an island and the last man standing wins. And it's perfect for competitive sports, and it's perfect for esports entertainment, because it's literally 20 to 30-minute matches at a time, and the last man standing wins. And
Yeah.
it's exactly what this generation of kids and young people desire, to be entertained. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's about as long as one episode of a television show we would watch. A match is, but you can sit and watch 5 or 6 matches to get a champion in 3 or 4 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and you're done. Night's over. Thank you for watching. We'll be here again next week and do it again for 500,000 viewers. And the whole time we're getting sponsorships, making money, and it's really interesting to me, and it's not going away. And so when your kid says they want to play video games because they're going to do it as a career someday, I don't know. don't 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 tell them they're stupid too fast. So
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You know, a lot of people years ago made comments about NASCAR, right?
oh
Nobody
sure,
could understand why anyone would pay to sponsor
yeah,
NASCAR.
cars
And
driving in
look
a
how
circle.
right, and look how big they are now. And
Yeah,
and if you sponsor a car, your advertisement is in front of a set of eyeballs
hmm,
for 3 to 5
right.
hours. And that's what these advertisers are looking for, is
Yeah,
they're looking for a way to get maximum exposure.
yeah, and so many of our athletic sports have rules against advertising on uniforms and that sort of thing. So NFL won't do it, the NBA won't do it, Major League Baseball won't do it. So things like NASCAR are one of the first things in America to say, hey, you can slap your logo on the player, basically. Well, it is. The drivers have them too,
Right. Right.
and so gaming, they do that too. The gamers, they have their logos. They have little things hovering right over their picture, where you can watch them play in the
Yeah.
picture, and it says who's sponsoring. And a lot of times, and this is something that people really like the most, is a lot of times with these gamers, their viewers are able to sponsor them directly through where they're watching.
Right.
They leave a tip, or they pay for subscriptions and that sort of thing, and the money goes directly to the gamer, instead of just advertising money, which they also do that. So
Yeah, I mean, soccer is probably the only
hmm,
professional sport in the US where they wear advertising.
yeah,
I mean, teams have Xbox right on the front of them,
right. Well, yeah,
or
and in
whatever.
and in
Or
Europe,
YouTube sponsored an expansion team
oh,
in LA. It's a absolutely horrid uniform, but YouTube's got their logo right on the front of
okay.
it.
Now in Europe, aren't some of the teams named the sponsor?
Well, in the MLS here, it's the New York Red Bulls.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the New
So
York Red Bulls. Yeah, you're right. I knew that. I'd heard of it
so
before, and I knew that was the case. And so that's what that happens in gaming too. Some of the gamer teams of gamers, because some of the games are squad based kind of things. They name themselves after their sponsor, and that's the
sure,
highest dollar sponsor. That's the name of my team.
sure.
So anyway, I guess all that to say, it's interesting. I don't think it'll be an Olympic sport, but you bring up a good point. It could end up being something that you know, uh, the Olympics sponsors its own, you know, nation against nation tournament of some esport game out there. But
Yeah, or maybe they even branch off a separate organization
yeah,
rather
possibly.
than it being the Olympics. They just come up with some other
Yeah,
organization to do it.
yeah, totally. So that's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and it'll be interesting on the 21st just to hear what comes out of that meeting, you know?
Yeah.
I think I would imagine half the people on the committee are just going to go to the thing shaking their head going, this is ridiculous. I can't believe I'm even here. But, you know, just judging from the type of people that are on that committee. Although dollar signs will make people make crazy decisions. So,
Yeah, and there's a lot of corruption in the
oh,
Olympics,
yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
we won't go there.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. But hey, John, thank you for jumping on here and talking with me about that.
You bet.
I appreciate your thoughts and your time. Tell everybody where they can stalk you online.
On Twitter, JWILKERS. And if you are into films and filmmaking, over at thewiredhomeschool.com, on probably by the time people hear this, I will have an interview with Hannah Ruth Earls from the Moving Picture Institute about some free resources that they have for parents and homeschoolers
Cool.
on with analyzing film and a couple of other things as well.
That's interesting. Cool. Critical
Yeah.
critical viewing kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds cool. Yeah, check out John's stuff. Our stuff's becausefamily.org, familytechblog.com, and we're on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all the places with the same name, Because Family. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thanks again to John, and check him out at thewiredhomeschool.com and all his social media locations. And we'll see you next time on Family Tech Update.